Hello and welcome to the program. I am Ayola Kasim. Today we open Earth File with these words by the United Nations Development Program. Water is life for people and planet. It is essential to the well-being of humankind and a basic requirement for the healthy functioning of all the world's ecosystems. It is critical to fighting poverty and hunger, safeguarding human health, reducing child mortality, as well as managing and protecting our natural resources. But it is under increasing threat from climate change. And Nigeria is one country that is really feeling the impact of this phenomenon.
We live in a small and limited environment that nonetheless provides the main support for human economic and social needs and aspirations. But this environment is a complex weave of physical, chemical, and biotic factors that interact with each other and impact upon all living things and their surroundings. It is the life-supporting system for human existence and survival, as well as providing physical milieu and the raw materials required for social-economic progress. If properly managed, it can be geared to productive domestic, aesthetic, and even spiritual requirements. Conversely, if poorly managed, the environment could easily become hazardous and threatening to human survival, where human interaction with the environment results in degradation, including depletion of renewable and non-renewable resources and pollution of air, water, and soils. It can be a significant source of economic loss and stress upon human societies. By the 1990s, a World Bank report estimated that Nigeria was losing about $5.1 billion per annum to environmental degradation. In the face of limited mitigation measures and initiatives, climate change is among the most present example of global environmental challenges we are facing today. At the same time, about 1.2 billion people still live in extreme poverty. According to the 2011 National Bureau of Statistics report, about 69.1% of the Nigerian population, or approximately 100 million people, are living below the poverty level. The world's surface water is affected by varying levels of precipitation, evaporation, and runoff in different regions. In recent time, there is an increasing concern that it is subject to increasing climate change and variability, which is compounding its capacity to meet human needs and demand. Although Nigeria emits low levels of greenhouse gases, which are accused of causing global warming, its water sector is highly vulnerable to global warming-induced climate change. Climate extreme events cause floods and droughts with their consequences for the availability and use of water. Climate change has a cumulative effect on water resource balance, with effects already visible in the country. Extreme weather events that are capable of negatively affecting Nigeria's water resources have become more frequent in recent years.
We have good water resources in this country, but the nation remains what we call water poor. The water poverty index of the country is about 44.7%. A good country that has abundant water and also make this abundant water available to its people, we score 100%. So which means we are not having enough. Less than 47% of Nigerians in the urban area have access to water. There's no city, which is ironic in this country, that can claim it's supplying water to its citizenry up to about 40% of the urban population for 24 hours a day. There's none. Even Abuja, that is, we are claiming to be so well planned. It started well, but recently you can't get water after 24 hours. So many people, majority of the people even in the urban areas, are depending on borehole for survival. So that creates a sort of paradox for a country, that you have abundant water resources, but you are not using these water resources to make it available for the poor and for the general public use. Rather, we complain about the floods. we complain about the water is washing us away. Why should we not be able to tap this water rather than allow them to wash us away? We wash it and use it for our own use.
The 2012 major flood disasters witnessed in more than half of the states of the country is a pointer to Nigeria's vulnerability to climate change-induced extreme weather events with long-term return periods. More than 5,000 homes were submerged in Kogi State, while about 370,000 people were rendered homeless in Edo State alone. The total value of destroyed physical and durable assets caused by the floods alone in the most affected states of Nigeria has been estimated to be about 1.48 trillion naira. The total value of losses across all sectors of economic activity was estimated at 1.1 trillion naira. The combined value of these damages and losses is 2.6 trillion naira. The overall impact of the flood on real GDP growth in 2012 is estimated at 1.4%. This estimation is based on the impact of production losses as a result of the floods in most sectors of the economy on real GDP growth in 2012. In addition, 363 people were killed, 5,851 injured, 3,891,214 affected, and 3,871,530 displaced due to the floods. That's according to the federal government statistics. While floods may further ravage the humid areas to the south, decrease in precipitation is expected in the Savannah North. This may result in increased drought frequency and decrease in surface water resources, particularly in the north. Thus, the northern part of the country may increase its dependence on underground water sources. The flood disaster and increasing national dependency on groundwater resources demonstrate the vulnerability of Nigeria's water sector to the impacts of climate change. It calls for the imperative for a coordinated and holistic approach to making the sector more climate resilient.
Well, you know, the legend said it in his song, water, you no get enemy. But the thing is that if you have water and I don't have any water, may I fit be your enemy? Absolutely, water is life. And what's going on here is that we're creating terrible, terrible havoc, especially in the northern arid areas of our country, where we're having very, very rapid degradation of water supply. And you're getting a whole bunch of people who just don't have access to water. In the lecture that we were listening to, he was telling us that sometimes you have to go 1,000, 2,000 meters just to get groundwater. And it costs a lot of money to do that. So what impoverished person who has been displaced from his farms in the first place is going to have that sort of money? So it is a very, very critical area that needs to be looked at very urgently, because it is giving us tremendous insecurity. You know, a hungry man is an angry man, but a man that has no water becomes a madman.
This water, although it's abundant, will not be behaving, its availability will not be the same every year. So in some years, as a result of climatic threats and changes, you will have some extreme weather events that will bring in a lot of water at once, which can allow floods to take. So you have to plan for that. In other years, you bring in about drought. So, but one year or the other, there must be some fluctuations. And the only way to ensure water availability for both domestic, industrial, and agricultural use is to be able to plan very well and allow it to be available for people's use.